Hello DragonCrafters, this is Worker from Dragon Productions and welcome to another video. This time we'll be looking at Persona 5 and answer this question. Should you play it or not? Persona 5 is developed by Atlus, one of my favorite game developers, especially in the RPG area. They have had numerous successes so far, and their Persona alongside the Megami Tensei series, they are pretty much a heavyweight in the scene. Persona 5 is actually the 6th entry in the Persona series, despite numbered as 5. Development for Persona 5 ranged for over 8 years, but was it worth the wait? Let's find out. Since we're talking about an RPG game, especially a JRPG, the main focus is the story. The story of Persona 5 is phenomenal from start to finish, full of plot twists and gripping moments. You play as a high school student who, after trying to protect a woman who was being sexually assaulted, found himself on probation and then expelled from his school. The protagonist is then sent to Tokyo and serve his year-long probation in Shujin Academy. Very soon after his arrival, he discovers the Metaverse, a strange world where the desires of one person can manifest in very surreal ways. The protagonist forms a group of phantom thieves in an attempt to reform the world of rotten adults by cleansing the corruption in their hearts by stealing their treasures, located inside the metaverse. That's it for the basic synopsis, and it really doesn't do justice to the series, my very poor way of introducing it. Anyway, Persona 5 does a fantastic combination and balance between school life as a teenager by day and being a phantom thief who goes against all odds and fights various demons by night. And you do feel like a student. After all, you probably have to sit through exams and everything. Although sometimes the story can be a bit predictable in how it goes, very often the game throws something completely unexpected at you, forcing you to sit down and think what just happened. Main story aside, there are various side stories, each for one of the main characters of Persona 5, along many other side characters, such as a peculiar female doctor or your own school teacher. These characters are all called confidants, and by progressing through the story or social link, as Persona 5 puts it, you can unlock various perks and have the ability to create stronger persona, which we'll get in a bit. To top it all off, these side stories are all very well written and feel extremely rewarding and satisfying, and after you progress a bit on the social link, you can unlock various scenes unrelated to everything else, such as hang out somewhere in Tokyo or go on dates with the female characters. Which brings us to the vast romance routes you can take. Persona 5 has the highest number of potential girlfriends that you can take that any other Persona game so far. All of them have their defining characteristic, and while you can romance more than one, the game will punish you severely for it by making you feel completely garbage at some point. So make your choice count, mates. The main concept of all Persona games is, well, personas. But what are they? Basically, they are the manifestations of one's heart. While it may vary how you can actually unlock it, once you do, you will then be able to use your persona in combat. If you think of them as summons, they're kinda similar to that idea. Each persona belongs to one of the major arcana of the tarot cards, such as the Tower or Justice arcana. While most people are tied to one persona, which is based on their own personality, the protagonist has what they call a wild card, represented by the full arcana, enabling him to use personas from all arcanas. In Persona 5, the masks that the characters wear are the manifestations of their personas, a really cool way to tie them with the phantom theme ideology. Now, you can get more personas by two ways. One is through combat. If you're successful in the requirements for it, you can negotiate with a shadow, which is basically another persona, and if you pick the right answer depending on which nature they are, think advanced rock paper scissors, you can claim that persona. While a simple enough way, sometimes you can't guess the right answer, as they can be pretty similar. Another way is through fusion. By sacrificing two or more personas, you are able to create new, more powerful ones. What is really important to mention is that due to the game's theme, How the fusion works is very uncomfortable, but in a brilliant kind of way. The graphics now are very well animated and run very smooth, despite the game started development before even 2010. They really took their time with this one, taking great care of all small details that you can think of, resulting in a wonderful experience at the end of it. Nothing is left to its own devices. Even the various suburbs and areas of Tokyo are very faithfully reproduced in the game. Sometimes just wish that the station didn't have to be that much faithful. Come on. To go further in, Atlus went one step further from just making a functional UI. They made it beautiful as well. The menus are one of the greatest things in Persona 5. They are all diverse and really fun to go through them. The dungeons now are all very carefully created and they are no longer randomly generated like previous titles. This only heightens the games itself, as they use the layout of each dungeon to bring even more immersion to the story, as well as making it looking absolutely stunning. But if you like your random dungeon stuff, Atlus still has you covered. With your band of phantom thieves, you can explore the world of mementos, which, unlike the themed dungeons, works just like the dungeons they did in Persona 3 or 4. To top it off, there is actually a reason why it's like that explained in the story. Small details, like I said. Let's head to gameplay now. Anyone who has played JRPGs like Final Fantasy or even previous Persona series, they will find it very similar. The combat is turn-based, but in order to make it as original and as fast as possible, Atlus went and made everything keybind into the controller, which makes it very easy to progress and that much faster in the fights, and always keep it refreshing and fun. The bosses themselves are extremely interesting to say the least, as they don't only have to beat them in just combat, but many times outwit them with various moves that require more than just pure strength. There is a nice steady difficulty curve throughout the whole game, and that way combat always stays relevant. Everything is very carefully crafted, since the developers did know they were making a game that would normally take over 70 hours to complete. However, my only complaint was the stealth mechanic. Atlus always rewarded you for getting on your opponent faster, and they tried to take it further with the stealth mechanic, which basically allows you to hide behind a wall or something similar and ambush the enemy, but sometimes it just gets in the way. As some of you know by now, I hold music and soundtrack to be of the utmost importance in video games, especially story-driven ones. I am very pleased to say that Persona 5 soundtrack is phenomenal. There is a great variety of songs and each is best used to the best possible scene. From casual strolls around Tokyo to boss fights, the soundtracks got you covered. Also, the voice acting, especially the Japanese voiceover, are of very high quality. What's more, the actual translations of Japanese to English is one of the best I've seen in any video game, period. All Persona games are very picky when it comes to time. There are many deadlines that you need to get over to progress through the game. While this can be a good thing sometimes, as it puts some realism to the game, it's also limiting you. You need to do more than one playthrough to fully explore everything the game has to offer, and some achievements actually require you to do that. And Persona 5 feels extremely limited even for a Persona game. However, in order to just appreciate the main story, you don't have to do more than one playthrough, which is a good thing if the game takes an average of 80 to 100 hours to complete. Overall, Persona 5 is a game that you should play. It's one of the greatest RPGs that have come out in the recent years, and will probably still be for many years to come. I believe it will soon be regarded as a must-play game if you enjoy single-player games with a rich story. Thank you for watching, folks. What is your opinion of Persona 5? Tell me in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you on the next video. Have a good one.